This time on Movie Reviews, we're going to be looking at Deadwood the movie. Deadwood the movie is an HBO original movie based on the series Deadwood from the early 2000s that lasted for 3 seasons before getting canceled, and sees the return of David Milch, the showrunner of the original show, as the head writer of this movie, and also sees the return of many of the actors from the original series, such as Timothy Olyphant and Ian McShane, and a bunch of other cast members. This is a reunion like no other. In this movie, we see that Deadwood has evolved as a town, and taking place in 1899, we see that everybody is celebrating the statehood of South Dakota, and everybody is here in Deadwood to celebrate this. And we see a reunion between many of our favorite characters, and we see how they have gotten along for the past years, and seeing what has become of them and how they have changed and how they reflect on the past. And that's what this film is really about. It's about reflection on the past. And that's what a lot of these types of reunion shows or revivals kind of do. They always kind of look back at the past fondly and look upon it to, evolve as characters. And that's what this movie does, and it does it in such a satisfying way that this is a perfect conclusion to this series overall. I loved this movie, guys, and it's a fantastically well-made, well-crafted film overall, and you guys should watch it. I suggest that you watch it after you've seen the original series and come back and see this, because honestly, I will say that it's a great movie, but I think you need to see the series to really understand the characters, the motivations, and how they have evolved throughout the series. The acting in this movie is fantastic. It's superb. It's better than ever. Honestly, everybody gives an excellent job. And I loved in this movie that they really gave Timothy Olyphant something more to do. He was kind of the secondary lead in the original Deadwood series, but honestly, Al Swearingen, played by Ian McShane, really stole the show through that series, and Timothy Olyphant was kind of pushed to the side. It was really nice seeing that we get a little bit more of him and some really well acted scenes from him. And again, Ian McShane as Al Swearingen is perfect as always, and I love what they did with his character, dealing with, the past and, reflecting on it. His character has seen the biggest change, honestly. He is much older now. He is trying to live life, and he's definitely a changed man. And I really enjoyed that, and it made something completely different that I wasn't expecting. There is no big monologue scene that Ian McShane does. He has a lot less dialogue in this, but it's done so perfectly, and the lines he has is really good. The dialogue, the script is excellent. It's top notch. It's probably the best script of any of the Deadwood episodes. This is really good stuff. The authenticity of the Western world is great. The acting is great. And it's just overall extremely satisfying and heartbreaking at times when you're watching this and seeing basically a fantastic farewell to these characters in this world, and it really does work as a finale overall, as well as being its own movie, but it works best as a finale. I love this movie, guys. However, there might be a few little complaints that I have here and there. One of the complaints I kind of have is just a little bit of retconning that they have, such as with Doc Cochran, played by Brent Dourif. In the 3rd season, his character kind of is showing signs of tuberculosis, and they just, I guess, disregarded that. and, he's not dead. But it was great to see him. There's a little bit of retcons here and there, and I think it was definitely because they wanted to have these actors that are still living show up in this show. And honestly, I didn't have too much of a problem with that. Also, maybe some characters I feel got pushed to the side really in certain ways. I feel like this movie should have been maybe a little longer. It's only about an hour and 40 minutes. I think this movie could have been around 2 hours and basically giving you enough time with each character, but it does give you enough time with the main players, and it is still very satisfying to watch. The final line in particular is one of the best things the show has ever done. It is a great line to end this series on. Also, maybe some problems I have with the fact that it's a movie, but it really does have a TV budget feel. It does feel like the show, which honestly, even though I'm complaining about that a little bit, it still works for basically the show. It really fits in with the original series, and you can watch this right after the series, and it looks exactly the same. It looks like it fits in there. It's not just, trying to be big and epic. It's not a grand scale movie. It feels very tight and small, like the series. In fact, it never really feels like a movie. More like a extension of the series, like a extended episode, more or less, like a 2-hour finale instead of a regular hour finale. But guys, this is a satisfying movie with great acting, great direction, just a great world with great characters, and it's so satisfying, heartbreaking, and if you guys love westerns, I think you'll love this. If you haven't seen the series, please watch it before you see this movie, because I think you really need to see that series to get the best out of this movie. With all that said, though, I'm going to give Deadwood the movie an 8 out of 10. Now, guys, the fact that this also works as a finale for the series overall, I think I should probably give it another rating as well. How does this compare to the rest of the series? What is this to the original series? So I'm going to give it a separate rating of how I would rate it with all the other episodes. So I'm going to give Deadwood the movie a 10 out of 10. In terms of a finale, this is the perfect conclusion to a great series, and I'm glad this exists. It's fantastic. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next review.